This year, 2025, was the year when I released all of my addictions. The addictions to sex, porn, money, food, consuming material stuff, social validation, and so on. And this was a really huge work I've done on myself. And I think it happened only because God released me from all of this to set me free and to probably show that it's possible through my example. The main topic of this video is not about this, but it's connected to what I'm gonna share with you today. So it's the devil archetype. Psychologically speaking, it's our shadow part. This part contains all of our suppressed emotions, feelings, desires that we do not recognize on our day-to-day life. But when we do, we release a lot of energy. We become a whole person again. We become so attractive and magnetic that people easily fall for us. Because a person who has the devil archetype, they're really magnetic and attractive. But when they realize the potential of this archetype, their magnetism is skyrocketing. And let's dive even deeper. There's a numerology system which is called Matrix of Fate. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you've seen it somewhere. And it bases its knowledge on the archetypes. And these archetypes you can find in the main arcana in tarot. So from the first arcana to 22nd, or from 0 to 21, you will find these archetypes from the Fool to the World. And the 15th arcana archetype is the Devil. And that's where we will dive in today. So before, like years ago, I was a numerologist by this system. I had clients and I did my personal educational course about this system. So I'm pretty much aware of this numerology system. So you can Google it and you can tap your birth date, and if you'll find there the number 15, so you have this archetype already. But even if you don't, still we all have all the archetypes, including this, especially this. It's a really complex archetype. It's not so basic. Like, for example, when we are talking about a person with the 7th archetype, they're about actions, a lot of actions, taking a lot of actions, traveling, and so on. So, or when we talk about the 9th archetype, these people are really wise, smart, educated, they're looking the answers in their own depths. And in the negative, they're way too much introverted, they don't talk to people, they don't share their knowledge, and so on. So it's pretty obvious. But when we talk about the 15th archetype, it's not so obvious. It's not like black and white. Because when people think about the devil archetype, they think like, oh, it's something bad and we shouldn't look at this, we should like avoid it. That's why the shadow part exists as well. And I want to share my, I think, deep observation about this archetype that I gained this year especially. Because this year was the year of the 15th archetype for me. And I thought it would be completely different, but it went this way, this direction. Then actually, I have the 15th archetype. So I switched it to the positive, I think, to maybe the maximum possible in my reality right now. And that's why if you have the 15th archetype, then my presence will heal you, because I healed this archetype already. That's how it works. So anyway, let's start from the positive sides of this archetype. So these people are really magnetic, attractive, seductive, sexy. They supposed to live a luxurious life, or the life, of a really ambitious person who gets what they want. These are people in power usually, because when you look into the charts of the presidents, like the president of my country, Vladimir Putin, they all have this archetype. But it doesn't mean that if you don't have it, you can be in power. No, it's not that, plain. So this is what type of person. And in the negative, this person falls to their addictions easily. They're tempted way easier than other archetypes, than people with the other archetypes. They can, have a deal with the devil or to sell their soul to get, fame, money, and so on. So it's really easy for them, and they fall into this trap really, really easily. Why? Because they know their potential. They know they are ambitious. They know that they want, to conquer the world, but they do not choose the right path. If we are talking of the person who has this archetype in the negative. This is the basic explanation of this archetype, but let's dive deeper. This year I had two main archetypes. It's the ninth archetype and the 15th. So together they made me to look into myself, into my own depth, like I've never done before. Because the 15th archetype is actually very spiritual. I think it's one of the most spiritual archetypes in the positive. And why is that? For this information, we have to dive deeper how to work with this shadow part. If you want to work with your shadow part, you have to face your suppressed desires, emotions, and feelings. And it doesn't mean that, for example, your shadow wants, like what, to rob a bank, and you have to do that. No, you have to find why you want to do that. Like maybe you need a validation, maybe um you're looking for again luxury lifestyle, and just in general money. You just want money. That's your that's the root, that's the root cause. But your subconsciousness decided that maybe that's the only option because you have a program that you can earn a lot only through illegal ways. That's really possible. That's why you have this in the shadow part of yours. So when a person looks into their shadow part of their psyche, and they truly embrace everything there, and it's not an easy process, because why is it suppressed at the first place? Because you don't want to face it. You don't want to face your um maybe greed, maybe lustful desires, maybe something else, right? But when you'll do so, and when you'll find something deeper behind it, because that's how it works, when you release it, you know what happens next? You transmute the negativity, the darkness, into the light. So you become, so through this darkness, through this transformation, you become more spiritual, heavenly guided person. Of course, we won't talk about that. You become a whole person, you will become more attractive to people because people usually do not embrace their shadow. And that's why some people can really like villains from the movies, because they do not embrace their shadow, okay? Or it's difficult, or it's something difficult for them, right? So that's why they're like them so much, or people like them in general, And this is why it's a very spiritual archetype. And if again we will talk about the history of the devil archetype, we know who devil was, right? He was an angel in the first place. He fought for his temptations. He was looking for redemption. He was looking for love of God, you know? And that's what the devil archetype teaches us as well. That, you know, um, these evil forces like the devil, it works in a really tricky way. They show something to you in disguise. Like for example, when you know that it's wrong to do this thing, like to argue, to gossip, but you still fall into this trap. You're aware that this thing is wrong, and your soul knows. The devil will, whisper to you, no, just do it one time. What's wrong? And the snowball effect, Main thing with the devil archetype is to go through, to overcome every of your temptation. And that's why I mentioned addictions in the beginning of the video. Because these addictions, they really, like, suppressed me. Like, I know that I have a lot of sexual energy, and it was easy for me to give it, to what I mentioned earlier, and so on. And also my addictions to food, for example, to money, because I needed to find something within me. I needed to find the fulfillment within me. Right? Like right now I'm not interested in food. Like I eat it because like I need to eat it because like I'm hungry and that's it. But before, like last years, that's why I gained so much weight. I ate because I was bored. I felt unfulfilled. I felt not loved within me, and that's what I try to gain through food, and that's how I started to have this addiction to food, to overeating. So the person with this archetype, they are tempted by so many ways, way often than the other people, or maybe even if you don't have it and it resonates with you, you have to understand this thing too. And what helped me, I think, God and discipline. That's it. And I talked about God in my another video, my testimony. It was really emotional for me experience to be so vulnerable and to talk about this and to record this video so you can watch it, and it will lead you to God. After you watch it, you will feel God. That's for sure. If you want to learn more about this archetype, I want to recommend you two books. First one, The Sorrows of Satan. It describes perfectly how Satan seduces us on a daily basis. And we just have an option: will we be seduced or not? Will we choose our soul, our moral values? Not this easy, path, but the path when we'll need to work, like literally work. And by the way, work makes us really beautiful on the inside and on the outside. Anyway, that's a really good book. I want to recommend you. Plus, another one which is famous in Russia, which is called Master and Margarita, and it's written by Bulgakov. It also explores the evil, the good forces, the negative forces, God, the devil, and love. And if you want to dive even deeper, you can discover more information about the shadow part, how to work with this. The dark feminine energy is also connected to this archetype as well. This is it for today. Please let me know what you got from this video after you watch it. What are your insights, how it changed you? And for an energy exchange, subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up, and see you next time. Bye bye.